Monty, you have been so instrumental in kind of pointing me in the right direction. And
it was about looking at your character defects in spirituality.
It's the integration of clinical practices with the 12 steps.
It's an absolute pleasure. He certainly knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of energy, and sometimes when you don't have so much energy, he picks you up and carries
Having
you.
the Monty Man there certainly helps.
This is one of the places that is about the business of the solution.
The views expressed on this special broadcast of the Take 12 radio show do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting or its affiliates. KHLT is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Now here's that guy who's getting less popular minute by minute. Your host, the Multi-Man.
Well, greetings, recovery family. Those of you in recovery, those of you who are advocates of, and perhaps some of you who should be, welcome to another fine episode here as you join us on the Good Ship Recovery, broadcasting to you from the studios of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting on the outskirts of beautiful downtown Albany, Oregon. And if you are on your smart device, a phone, tablet, whatever, our website address is take12radio.com. Type it in, the full word or the number, doesn't matter. And if you are on your PC, you're already there. And if you're listening to us on a CD or something of that nature, just everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at Take 12 Radio. We've got I am so privileged today to introduce you to our guest, and many of you already know her. For those of you who do not, you are in for an incredible treat. Now listen, we all know that music is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. You can be depressed, down in the dumps. I mean, you are on your last leg, and hear the right song, and it will change you, turn you around, and make your day. You can be having the greatest day in the world and hear the right song and be in tears. It is very powerful. It is, I believe, definitely anointed gift from God, particularly for those who God has gifted with this ability to carry, particularly the message of recovery, the message of serenity, the message that life is actually filled with wondrous things. And be able to transmit that through music, whether it is instrumental, whether it's vocal, whether it is both. Many of you know that my son Colin is a musician, and what he has to say, I'm going to bring him on one of these days, and we're going to talk about what he has to say about music. It'll blow your mind. Well, my guest this week, you're just going to love this. So just hold on to your horses with that, okay? Because we're going to get our sponsors out of the way for the first half of the show right away, because I want to spend as much time as I can with Kathy Moser, who is our guest this week. Listen, this is National Alcohol Awareness Month, and prevention organizations in communities across our country are spreading the word about the effects of alcohol use. And many of these organizations, their work, they're hosting events, they're exhibiting at health fairs, they're conducting age-specific programs at schools prior to proms and graduation ceremonies and the like. And I want you to tell you that we here at Take 12 Radio are participating and celebrating National Alcohol Awareness Month by doing something that we've are in support of and we're in cooperation with, and that is a brand new recovery support and workshop system called Recovery Life. You can visit the website at recoverylife.org. We launched it yesterday in cooperation with Oak Creek Christian Center in Albany, Oregon. And I want to make it very clear, this is not a ministry of Oak Creek Christian Center. This is in cooperation with them. They have been so gracious to allow us to use their facility and to help us with this. And recoverylife.org is a little unique. We have two formats that we use. We have a workshop, and then we have support meetings. The support meetings are gender specific. We have a men's meeting, a women's meeting, and a meeting for family and friends of the addicted alcoholic, addict, whatever it is that's so easily besetting them. You guys are family members and friends, and sometimes you don't know what to do and you're lost. So we have meetings for you too. But we also have workshops. And on May 2nd, starting Friday, May 2nd, and every Friday in May, we are presenting a workshop specifically designed to educate the faith community, clergy, lay people, and church leadership on the problems and solutions of addiction, alcoholism, and recovery. Some of you out there have gotten a confused message, and I understand why you have. Things have changed since 75 years ago when the first 12-step recovery program was launched. Things have changed a little bit. We want to clear the air because we don't want you to be scared of this stuff. This is not a program whose business is about bashing anybody, being in competition with anybody. This is an educational workshop. We're going to be addressing certain issues like what's the history of 12-step fellowships? What is this higher power business? Is alcoholism and addiction an illness, a disease, or a moral issue? What are some of the myths around addicts and alcoholics? How can you participate and help? How can you be part of the solution? What are some of your questions? What are some of your answers? It's a very positive, very solution-focused workshop. So we invite you to come to that. Go to recoverylife.org for more information, recoverylife.org. Okay, that was a lot in a mouthful, but I needed to get that out to you because it's so vitally important. All right. We're going to listen from our sponsors for this part of the show. When we come back, you are about to experience what I believe is one of God's most talented individuals I have met in a long time, Kathy Moser. You can visit her website at kathymoser.com, KathyMoser.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Addiction is the number one health threat in our world today. Origins Recovery Centers provides integrated inpatient treatment for substance abuse and co-occurring disorders. At Origins, clients receive expert medical, clinical, and spiritual care individually designed for their needs. Their clients leave Origins with the foundation upon which they will build the rest of their lives. Call now to speak with an admissions specialist. Their toll-free number is 888-843-8935. That's 888-843-8935. Origins, delivering real solutions for real families.
Treatment does not have to be voluntary to be effective. Sanctions and enticements from family, employment settings, and or the criminal justice system can significantly increase treatment entry, retention rates, and the ultimate success of drug treatment interventions. Freedom Interventions provides the direction necessary to get the help of an addiction intervention. We assist with selecting a treatment experience appropriate for the unique needs of your addicted loved one and provide 6 months of ongoing support to ensure success for everyone involved in the transition into real life. If you know someone who needs a life-saving intervention, visit freedominterventions.com or call 888-762-7557. That's 888-762-7557. Freedom Interventions, providing drug and alcohol interventions and a continuum of care services to clients and their families.
Drinking and driving bad, jamming and driving good.
Hey, this is Tommy Holmes, and you're listening to Interview Friday with my pal, the Monty Man.
All right, drinking and driving bad, jamming and driving good. You're going to want to jam to this music that you're going to be listening to by Kathy Moser, whether in your car, on your PC, on your MP3 player, whatever it is. You're not going to want to miss out on this. And you can visit her website. I'm going to be mentioning it several times, KathyMoser.com. KathyMoser.com. You can pick up her music there, and we're going to be giving you a preview of that. And let me tell you something about this music for a better world. Kathy Moser is a songwriter, performer, teacher, and social artist, working to bring positive change to the world through music. She performs and tours nationally. Kathy has appeared at well-known folk venues such as Club Hasm and Godfrey Daniels, as well as colleges, churches, coffee houses, prisons, and benefits too numerous to mention. Known for her poetic lyrics, driving guitar style, and goofy stage presence, her songs confront a variety of topics ranging from world peace to lawnmowers, dysfunctional families to shopping malls, drug addiction to the wisdom of trading in your car for a horse. I need to do that. Audiences leave her shows entertained and uplifted throughout and motivated. And we're going to be talking about her workshops here in a minute, too. Her new album, Someone Like You, features 11 original tracks and covers of Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Peter Mayer, and Death Cab for Cutie. This is amazing work. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Monty, thank you so much. It's so nice to reconnect with you.
Yes. Now, you and I met at the Cape Cod Symposium on Addictive Disorders. That's the first time that we met. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I went. You and your beautiful wife.
Yeah, and Marcia, and we just love you. You are just you're just so neat and nice and positive and warm and fuzzy and all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't always the case. What was it, Kathy? Your life wasn't like it is today at one point, correct?
No, I used to be so dark and so serious, man. And when I first came into recovery, I thought the happy people were stupid. Honestly, I thought if you were smart like me, you'd be dark like me, and if you were happy, you just weren't paying attention. But I got a lot of help, and I got some guidance, and I got some connection with a higher power, and I learned how to be of service in the world, and all that darkness kind of fell away. Not to say that I don't have bad days, and not to say that I don't feel things deeply.
Right.
But definitely I found that the service is where the joy is.
Yeah. So have you always been musically inclined, even in your naughty days?
I have been musically inclined, and that's actually, when I started playing guitar when I was 10. I come from a family of people who played music, but the rule in the family was you weren't allowed to make your living at it. It was only supposed to be a hobby, but that was one of many rules I broke. Actually, it's not until I got clean and sober that I was able to start playing music full time. I always had a job before then, and now I'm clean and sober 18 years next week, and I haven't had a real job for 16 years. I've worked for myself for 16 years.
Well, congratulations. A clean and sober entrepreneur is always refreshing.
Well, you know what? To me, one of the most best gifts of it is that, when I started playing music, and my older brother played music, and a lot of the people I idolized and a lot of the people I was around, for them, drugs and alcohol and music were all part of the same story.
Mm-hmm.
There was this false myth that you kind of had to drink and drugs to play music. And, I just like to say to anyone who's listening to this show who loves creativity in any form, that the best thing for my creativity has been my recovery. And also, my creativity has really helped my recovery. It's been like a two-way street. So it's absolutely not true. I was never able to tour before I got clean and sober. I was never able to, function at the level I wanted to. I never had the humility to rehearse at the level I needed to in order to be excellent. All of those things were gifts of recovery.
We had a guest on here recently, a friend of mine named Jeff Bates, and he was saying that in the beginning of his music career, his guitar made better friends than he did, and and that was part of his inability to become emotionally sober at the time. But now through recovery and like you said, enhancing his talent and so forth, it's the other way around.
Well, absolutely, and actually, if I think it's true that for artists, our art comes from our emotions. So if you're masking your emotions, it just follows that you're not going to be able to have as deep and authentic and also sustainable creativity as you can if you're really in touch with yourself and how you really feel, and also have learned to take good care of yourself, which is something most of us had to learn in order to be in recovery.
Yeah, you bet. So okay, God, and I use this word very seriously. I believe God has anointed you with a specific gift, and you've been a good steward over that. Not everybody is. What do you do to keep, this talent fresh?
It's funny. Well, thank you for saying that you felt I was anointed. I closed my eyes and bowed my head when you said that, because this might seem irreverent, but like a moment in a movie that was really meaningful to me is in the Blues Brothers movie, when they're like doing so much unreasonable stuff, and Don Bluthfield pulled down his sunglasses and he goes, "We're on a mission from God."
Yeah.
Or Aykroyd will say that also. So for myself personally, I would say one of the tools that's been a recovery tool that's been so great for my creativity and my music is good orderly direction.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to, and also self-care, to make sure that I'm sleeping enough, that I eat well, that I'm getting exercise, that I'm doing what I need to do for my spiritual wellness, that I'm meditating. And then also in creativity, I take myself on what's called artist state, a tool I learned out of a book by Juliet Cameron called The Artist's Way. And, so I spent Saturday out in my kayak. I'm going to go see one of my favorite musicians in the world, and I think in 2 weeks, Ani DeFranco. And nobody else I know was able to go with me, so I'm going to go see her by myself, which is actually sometimes great. I spent time outside with my camera. I play in different art forms because, music is my passion, and it's also my work. So I have different art forms like photography that are just fun. It's just fun. So I go see other musicians. I work with other musicians. I listen to music. I don't actually listen to music extensively, honestly. And I try and just get myself down into my studio in my house as often as possible. And also sometimes what I'm working on now is, because I've been so blessed to be really busy and touring, and I have this new record that just came out. So often I'm rehearsing towards a gig, and I have a goal. But what I'm trying to do also is carve out a little bit of time for just going in the studio and messing around.
Yeah.
Without a goal. Sometimes I'll go back and play the cover songs, like the songs that I loved growing up.
Right.
Leaving on a jet plane. Or even some of the classical guitar that I learned in college.
Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. When I read that, I still get goosebumps. Because that's my era. That's the stuff. That is the stuff that greatness is made of. I mean, I just love that stuff. You said something about going and seeing the musician by yourself. That is good sometimes because then all your attention can be in soaking up the moment. You're not distracted by trying to keep the other person happy or looking at them or whatever. So sometimes that is a real blessing to be able to do that. So
plus I want to look at all the technical stuff. Like I want to look at the stage setup. I want to see behind the mixing board. I want to see like what they're doing for lights. I want to see what kind of amps they have on stage. Like I want to see all that stuff. And sometimes it's good to take yourself on a little artist date.
Sure. You bet. Okay, we're gonna listen to this first song. This song is one of the chart toppers on our music sets here at Take 12 Radio. It's called If You Are Willing. Tell us about this.
So I do this insane thing, which is that I write recovery songs with groups of like 25 people in early recovery, where we write, rehearse, and record an original song in 2 hours. And this song is the very first song that was written in one of the recovery workshops, songwriting workshops. It was written in the very first recovery songwriting workshop I did. We wrote it with about 20 women in early recovery at Alina Lodge, and we were doing what I call an explorament. That's a word I made up, explore and experiment mushed together, on what does it mean to be willing. And then because, of course, anyone in a treatment facility has privacy, I re-recorded the song in my own voice so that the wider world could appreciate it.
Sure. All right, check this out, folks. Kathy Moser, If You Are Willing.
If you are willing to go to any length, your higher power can be your source of strength. If you are willing, then action is the key. Give me the vision to make the decision to open the door and set me free. Life is a process, God is the core. You can turn your will over and open up that door that passes the past. Let go of the shame, let go of the guilt, let go of the blame. 'Cause if you are willing, suggestions. We'll show you the way out. Surrender to faith. Open your mind. Trust in something. You'll be amazed at what you'll find if you are willing to go to any length. Your higher power can be your source of strength. If you are willing, then action is the key. Give me the vision to open the decision to open the door and set me free. 'Cause if you are willing to go to any length, your higher power, it could be your source of strength. If you are willing, then action is the key. Give me the vision to make the decision to open the door and set me free. If you are willing.
All right. If you're willing, Kathy Moser, KathyMoser.com is the website. Kathy, what was really cool at Cape Cod is you came down and sat down at the table where we were taping interviews and brought your guitar, and I just loved it. Not everybody is, some people are studio artists and they just shine in the studio. They sit down in front of you, they're like, well, bless their heart. But I gotta say, I appreciate you. So you had that ability to really draw us in, to really be personal, whether you're in the studio or whether you're sitting there just right across the table from us. And this is something that you've expounded on by doing these workshops with people. Tell us a little bit more about what goes on in a workshop.
Okay, I will. And I just wanted to say, too, I could just circle back for a second. That
you bet.
I was thinking, as you were playing that one of the ways I keep my music fresh is to be out in public doing it, because it's the connection with the audience that really feeds me. And it's a very similar thing in terms of recovery, in that, we keep our recovery by giving it away.
Right.
And one of the same thing happens in performance. So if you're an artist, and you're thinking about putting your stuff out there into the world, I totally encourage you to take baby steps towards putting your stuff out there in the world, because that's where the circle gets complete, and you can get the energy back in order to continue with your work. And then the only other thing I wanted to say is that we have a new video up on YouTube. If you search under my name, Kathy Moser, and If You Are Willing, you can see a video of me playing that song with a brilliant harmonica player named Trina Hamlin. So we'd love to have people be able to have that resource as well, just let you know that's up there for your viewing pleasure.
And as a matter of fact, if you go to take12radio.com, and right under where it says Recovery Music, it says Recovery Videos. If you click on that, that particular video is on that page. It'll take you right to it.
Super.
Yeah.
So I will tell you a little bit about how we do the workshops, but first, if it's okay with you, I'd like to tell you about why we do the workshops.
Absolutely.
Because the reason we do the workshops is that I have this privilege of being engaged in the process of recovery and also engaged in this process of songwriting. And at some point, I realized that these processes have so much to offer each other, and that the process of recovery is really hard to see. It's very opaque. It's hard to see how it's going to work. It's hard to see when it's going to work. So what's cool about the process of songwriting is it takes a process that it's hard to see how it's going to work and when it's going to work, and it miniaturizes it. Give people the experience of going literally from nothing. We walk in with zero preconceived notion most of the time about what we're going to write about or what it's going to sound like. We have a lot of tools at our disposal, but we have no preconceived notion. We meet 25 people we've never met before. They haven't met us. And we guide them, we midwife them, as it were, through this process, which gives them the opportunity to practice. So all these skills, like the skill of repetition, the gift of going slow, the gift of having sober fun, the gift of allowing the thing to be imperfect until it becomes better, like start off awkward and become better, just like recovery.
Yeah.
The gift of working as a group, which is not always easy for people. We're not people that would normally mix, and often with a lot of people in early recovery who are not normally mixing and possibly living together in a recovery space.
Right.
This gives us an opportunity to practice working as a group. The gift of being of service, because if the group writes a great song like that one, then that song can go out and be of use in the world. The gift of making mistakes is one of the really important things in creativity. It's so much cool stuff happens in creativity that is a mistake. It never would have happened on purpose. And that's a great lesson to learn, because a lot of things in our life happen that look like mistakes. And when we look back, we go, oh, I never could have gotten here if that hadn't happened.
Oh, amen to that. Oh, my
Right?
God.
And then the last gift of the songwriting process is completion. We finish the song, Monty. Every single time we finish the song, and we finish it in 2 hours. So that's kind of why we do it. The way we do it is we'll ask the group for a topic. They'll throw out ideas on it. We'll do a group warm-up where everyone pitches in an idea, and while they're doing that, we're gathering those ideas on the screen, on the laptop, which is projected up on the wall. This is like a gathering of ideas, and then we're looking at the ideas, and we're thinking about, okay, like what looks like, one of the ways songwriting is like recovery is we don't look for the complicated place to start. We look for the easy place to start. We look for the obvious place to start. So if someone has like written 2 lines that rhyme, we'll often start there. And one of the things that recovery and art have in common, one of the many things, but one of the most powerful, obvious ones is that telling the truth is what makes art powerful.
Wow.
Telling the truth is also what makes recovery powerful.
Yeah.
So we always tell people, like we wrote a song about hope at Alina Lodge last year, I guess. And we tell people in the beginning, this is not a test. This is an experiment. And if this topic makes you angry or you don't believe in it, tell me about that poetically. So this one girl wrote a line. We got to her, and it was her turn. She was like, I don't believe in hope. I've tried so many times. And I was like, you know what? That's a great first line.
Ooh,
it is. It was.
Yeah.
Because it cracked open the door. Like anyone knows, if we're telling someone who's trying to get clean and sober that it's all bunnies and rainbows, it's not true. So we're not going to be able to help them. But if we tell them, like, this stuff is hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of experiences where people have said things, told the truth, and it just makes the whole song deeper. So we go through this gathering process, and then we kind of poll the group to find out, if we have any musicians or beatboxers or singers in the group. Not to say that singers aren't musicians, but see if we have any guitar players or instrumentalists. Right. What kind of genre the group loves, where their heart lies in music. And then we dive in and we create a piece of music that is either using my laptop recording studio or my guitar or one of my compatriots that I bring with me. We create a couple grooves. We offer them to the group. They pick one. And then this incredibly magic thing happens, which is that by this time we have some words that look like they're in like a chorus or verse form, and we have some music. And then we ask, would somebody from the group be willing to stand up and try and sing this thing? At this point, nobody's sung it. We have no idea how it goes. And just to tell you one story, we did a workshop at Katamet, which is a Gosnold on Cape Cod facility, and I knew from talking to the group the night before when we did a concert for them that many of them were trying again. It wasn't their first try. It was their second chance. So when we did the group warm-up, this one guy said, this is my 15th second chance. And I was like, that's the title.
Oh, wow.
My 15th second chance. But there was this guy, Monty, named Dave, and they called him Shaky Dave because he was still detoxing and he was shaking so bad. He had his head down. He wouldn't make eye contact. When we did the warm-up and we were asking, how do you feel about having a second chance? And this guy, Shaky Dave, which is a pseudonym I'm using for him, he said, here I am again. And that was also a great first line. But when we got the music together and we had the words and we asked this group of like 30 people who would like to try and stand up and sing this, from the corner, Shaky Dave says, I'll do it. And in my head, I'm like, you?
Wow.
Really? He stood up, Monty. He sang like Tom Waits. If I had been like working, I would have just like laid down on the floor and cried. He was so powerful, so amazing. The group was just stunned into silence. And like months later, I ran into some people that were there that day, and they were still talking about it. So, we create this space in which the song arises magically in our midst, which is similar in so many ways to what we do in recovery, right?
Yes.
Come together as a group. We're all sick. We're all in pain. We try and connect with some kind of higher power and each other, and then recovery arises within us.
You bet. Wow, I just kept saying wow because I just picture myself being in that room watching him stand up and sing. I mean, My goodness. You know, I have found that the most beneficial, the most successful, the most powerful forms of recovery are ones that go beyond just the meetings, the ones that go beyond just reading steps on a wall, the ones that actually continue the process of growth, not just maintenance. You know, we talk about steps 10, 11, and 12 as the maintenance steps, and actually the literature in some of the fellowships refers to it as more than that. It's a continuing of a growth process, and we move into areas where our talents are being brought to the surface, artistically, poetically, musically. Maybe it's a talent. I know a guy who's a cabinet maker that is amazing, you know. And when those things are coming into focus and they start to blossom, it is absolutely amazing how that enhances a person's life. It just blows my mind.
Right. Well, I think almost any creative process that you would engage in, and also athletics, and also just anything that's process oriented.
Yeah.
I had a guy who did a whole talk to me about like why fishing was great for his recovery. Because it requires patience. It requires a lot of times this is a funny thing I don't understand about fishing, but you go out there and you don't catch a fish and it's still a successful day.
Right.
You had a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and so just all these interesting ways. I think gardening has the same thing, you know, in terms of being process oriented. So, I mean, I've also noticed that there's so many creative people in recovery. And again, I just want to say to anyone who's listening, if you're in recovery and creativity is in your heart, I totally invite you to step into it. I believe that there's so much connection to be had with the higher power there, and then this thing can happen where you can use your the thing that makes you most happy, and you can use it to be of service to other people. Yeah. And that's just magic.
Yeah, you sure can. You sure can. Tell us about this song, One Foot In.
Oh, I'm so excited about this song. So I did this workshop at a place called Little Creek Lodge, which is a extended care facility for young men in Pennsylvania. It's run by a guy named Andy Pace, who was in a band called CNC Music Factory, which you might have heard their song "Gonna Make You Sweat." It was a big hit. And what Andy decided to do with his success was create the space for recovery. And in addition to being a regular residential facility, it also has a recording studio in it. So I went up there and did my songwriting workshop with them. And the topic that they chose to talk about was about having one foot in, one foot out. You know, about fully committing ourselves to our recovery in our lives. And so I worked with them that day, and we wrote the song. And now, obviously, in 2 hours, we're writing, rehearsing, and recording it. We were only able to take it so far, but they decided that they were going to release an album out of that facility, and this was the first track on that album. Their album, I think, is called Transformations. So they went and spent a lot of time re-recording it in the studio in the facility, and I'm just so excited about how it turned out.
All right, here's One Foot In.
One foot in, one foot out, leave you hopeless, fear and doubt. Just let go, dive right in, just surrender, let yourself win.
The rest of my life is a really long time. I feel too young to make up my mind. I want to change my ways, but it's harder than trying to get out of a maze. If I try really hard, I know I can overcome it and feed myself with knowledge till I've got a full stomach. So let's make a change, try something new. 1 foot's not enough, you gotta use two.
1 foot in, 1 foot out, leave you hopeless, fear and doubt. Just let go, dive right in, just surrender, let
but I've been stressing in my head about what I'm supposed to be. They say that the best things in life are free. To what length would I go for my sobriety?
One foot in, one foot out. Leave you hopeless, fear and doubt. So just let go, dive right in. Just surrender, let yourself win. One foot, one foot. Let go, dive right in. Just surrender, let yourself win. One foot in, one foot out. Leave you hopeless, fear and doubt. So just let go, dive right in. Just surrender, let yourself win.
One foot in. Wow, that's what I'm talking about. Folks, don't go away. More with our guest, recovery recording artist, Kathy Moser. KathyMoser.com is the website. We'll be right back.
Men, women, and their families experience tremendous pain and suffering due to the struggles they face from substance abuse and its co-occurring mental health challenges. They need to find a safe place for peace and healing. Therapia Addiction Healing Center was born out of a deep desire to provide that safe and powerful healing environment. Therapia exists to help people recover from addictions by developing and maintaining healthy, meaningful relationships with God, self, and others. To speak with an addiction specialist, call 1-855-652-4325. That's 1-855-652-4325. Or visit our website at www.therapia.net. Therapia Addiction Healing Center, restoring lives one step at a time.
When I first came to Serenity Springs, I never thought I could stay clean and sober. And then after being through the 12 steps and getting closer to God and just learning how to live, I can't imagine life with drugs and alcohol anymore.
Introducing Serenity Springs Recovery Center, a fully licensed residential drug and alcohol dependence treatment center for men, specializing in helping individuals with substance abuse problems. Addiction is a disease that deteriorates the body, punishes the mind, and destroys the spirit. Addiction needs to be attacked on all three of these fronts.
They work the steps, they work them extremely hard. Finding God is a big part, and that's what they did for me. They gave me a life second to none.
Residents live in a resort-style accommodations and are able to participate in numerous on-site activities.
Golf and working out, playing basketball a lot.
Serenity Springs is a unique facility that is committed to providing exceptional individual care in small group settings.
They talk about life beyond your wildest dreams. I never thought that was possible for me, and today I'm living it.
And just being connected. Guys are like my brothers, just a big family.
At Serenity Springs, they want to make a life-changing investment into your recovery. For more information, contact their 24-hour admissions department at 386-423-4540 or visit their website at serenityspringsrecovery.com.
It's really amazing what's happened. I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle.
Hello, this is the Blues Buddha, and you're listening to Take12Radio.com with the Monty Man.
All right, and welcome back. And my guest this week is Kathy Moser, when I consider a recovery recording artist. Kathy, I've had this dream, and perhaps one day it will happen. And I may be long gone when it does. It doesn't matter. But I think it would be so cool. we've got the Grammys and we've got the Oscars and the Tonys and on and on and on it goes. We've got the Prism Award. Wouldn't it be great to have a Recovery Recording Artist Award?
That's a great idea, Monty.
I think that would just be so cool. I really do, because there is a lot of people, and this is one of the best kept secrets still in many recovery communities, that there is so many talented musicians out there and artists that have yet to be discovered, as well as ones that are already producing, already performing. And that's one of our big pushes here, is to expose people to you guys, because it is such a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's totally a powerful tool. I'm interested also, like, in a recovery musicians collective.
Yes.
Just where we can know each other and help each other.
Yeah. That would be just so beneficial. Today, specifically, now, folks, you're listening to this perhaps any day of the week starting with the 18th, and this show will be up all week. But we actually pre-record this show. This is being recorded on Monday, the 14th of April. Today marks the third anniversary of your father's passing due to complications from alcoholism. True?
Absolutely. Today's the day.
How you feeling?
I feel two ways. I feel angry that my family has been ravaged by alcoholism. Actually, I think I feel three ways, Monty. I feel angry that my family's been ravaged by alcoholism. I feel grateful that I got a way out. And I feel frustrated that other people are still dying of alcoholism and addiction.
Yeah.
I think that's how I feel. Yeah, I feel sad, I feel frustrated, and I feel grateful. And what's cool about being clean and sober is I can actually feel all three of those things at the same time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like vanilla and chocolate with sprinkles on top. I can feel all of it.
Yeah. And I think Chris Schroeder, who's the chairman of our board of directors here at Take 12 Radio, says this so well, is that in early recovery, if things don't at the very least appear to be going down the toilet, you're probably not doing it right.
I love the analogy. I've been thinking about that because, like, my first year in recovery was definitely worse than my last year using.
Yeah,
definitely, because I didn't feel my last year, and I felt everything the first year.
Right.
We talked about, like, drinking and drugging for a long time is like driving in a car and throwing all this stuff into the back seat for years, and then you stop suddenly, and all that stuff was in the back seat and flying up into the front seat.
That's great. I can visualize. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard that. That's not mine, but I was like, yeah, it's definitely like that. Which, again, to say to anybody, early in recovery, it totally gets better. Addiction is slow, and generally addiction is like a process that happens over a long time, and so is recovery.
And we know. I mean, one of the things that I love, I think he's the youngest male doctor on the show, The Doctors, says when he's talking to somebody with diabetes, for instance, he'll say, here's the deal. The very minute you start to go in the other direction, your body starts to heal. The very minute you start. And so we know that in reality, it's getting better, but it sure doesn't feel that way, look that way, or appear that way many times. And that's because, like you said, because we are facing things and we are doing it right. And so if you're out there, folks, and you're going, man, you know what? I love this music, but I'm not feeling it because I'm just miserable. Well, you know what? You're probably doing something right. You probably are, if you're actually doing the deal. Before we listen to this last song,
Can I offer you another image?
Yes, absolutely.
It's spring out here in New Jersey, and I think early recovery is like the way baby birds look when they're born. Like even eagles look really stupid when they're first born. Yeah. They have like little bits of shell stuck to them. Their feathers are all going the wrong way. They have wings. They don't know why. So it's just like so awkward in the beginning,
Yeah.
just when the baby bird comes out, but it's worth it.
That's good. That's good. I'm gonna. Yeah, one of my sponsees is having a rough time. I'm gonna tell him, you know what? You look like a newborn eagle, man. You just look. You're a mess.
Right, and someday you'll fly.
Yep.
And someday you'll fly. You know.
Yep. You bet. You bet. Well, Kathy. Before we listen to the third song for this show, let's talk about what is going on specifically today. And like I said, we're taping this on Monday. Listeners, Kathy has a radio show. Tell us about this.
Oh yeah, so I have this radio show. It's on the internet. It's on a channel called City of Angels Recovery Radio, and it's called Wings Over Water: Creativity and Recovery. And I'm exploring all the ways. It's an experiment of all the ways in which our recovery helps our creativity, in which our creativity helps our recovery. So we've explored topics like perfectionism versus artistic excellence. That's a really great one to hang out with. This week's show is called Feelings Are Friends, which is why our feelings are our friends, because in recovery they have information for us to tell us what needs to change. And in creativity, they are our palette from which we draw. I think the energy of creativity is to be respected. It is a lot of energy. And so a big thing we talk about on the show also is self-care, and how do we make sure that we can be artistically excellent while being deeply grounded in our recovery, so that we're not getting really exhausted or overscheduling or giving from an empty well.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing experiment of creativity and recovery, and we've been up since August. I think I just did my 27th show.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you. What is the website address for that?
It's COA Radio, cityofangelsradio.com. And it's also up, we're putting select episodes up on iTunes. So if you look for Wings Over Water on iTunes, you'll see we have like basically one show a month we're putting up on iTunes. But again, just like your show, Monty, people can stream it. They can, it's in the archives. They can download and listen to it at a different time if they want to.
Excellent. And we'll have a link up on this. Folks, we'll have a text link on at the base of all of our main web pages to coaradio.com. We'll have links up on the Friday page here, so you can go directly to that right after this show and check that out. I encourage you to do so. Okay, Kathy, again, before we listen to this last song, tell us about this new album that's just been released.
Well, so the album is called Someone Like You, and that's like written as if you were texting, so SOME and then the number 1, and then like, and then the letter U. It's thanks to my recovery, I finally had the confidence to release an album nationally to radio. It just got mailed out to like 300 radio stations 2 weeks ago, and it got mailed out to press all over the country. It's coming out on Earth Day, which is next April 22nd, right after this show. And what I'm especially proud of is that it supports my values as an environmentalist also, taking care of God's creation.
Sure.
And one half of the run of the album actually has all the liner notes and the photographs and the stories of the songs, and there's no album in it. There's only a download code. There's no CD in it. So it's like one of the smallest possible carbon footprint ways to release an album. And so I'm very excited about it. It has some songs that listeners would relate to, like Needle and the Damage Done, and also a song called Within Arm's Reach, which I wrote when a friend of mine died from addiction. But the title song, Someone Like You, I think especially also speaks to people in recovery to say that, the world needs us at this time. There's so many issues going on in the world. And the world needs us to be our whole passionate, full, most useful selves that we can be, most joyfully useful selves that we can be. And what the world needs now is someone like you.
Yeah. Here is Someone Like You from Kathy's album, Someone Like You.
be true that the only one who could save this world was you. Furthermore, that every time that you help somebody else, the one you end up helping the most is actually yourself. It's like love, like laughter. You can't measure these things. Just dream every dream and grow really big wings. 'Cause there's no getting out, baby. Where you gonna go? This is the only world that you and I are ever gonna know. So why not make it someplace that we actually wanna live? We make a living from what we get, but we make a life from what we give. And the world, she's down on her knees, right outside that door, begging somebody please. Bust a move, make a stand, come on, there's so much to do. What the world needs now is someone like you. I know, it's a hard world to stay awake and alert. There's so much pain, there's so much fear, there's so much darkness, so much hurt. Please, please, stay strong, stay alive, stay real. Build a castle from your friends, go tell people how you feel. 'Cause your emotion, it's like fuel, baby, just like gasoline. And you could use it to drive an awesome, world-changing machine. But that same emotion, you keep that locked down inside. And that gasoline is gonna burn you alive. That's the cutting, that's the huffing, that's the drinking, that's the dope. That's what we do when we feel like there's no hope. But it's a big fat lie. You and I've been told that there's nothing we can do, that this whole deal's remote controlled. But the world, she's down on her knees. She's right outside that door begging somebody please. House to move, make a stand, come on, there's so much to do. What the world needs now is someone like you. Listen, kindness, it's so simple, but it's so seldom heard. And we've got kids dying in schools for one encouraging word. There's a reason, there's a power, there's a gift to being kind. What if someone had just been really nice to those 2 kids from Columbine? 'Cause the kids that don't fit in are gonna save the day. What we need right about now is people who could think some different way. And the kid who finally cracks the code and hands us all the cure for cancer is gonna have the mind of a freak, baby. That's how they'll find the answer. As smart as Yahoo, Amelia Earhart, Dr. King, Van Gogh, Anita Franco, Einstein, Edison, and Michelangelo. Yo, so what if it turned out to be true that the only one who could save this world was you? 'Cause there's no getting out. Where you gonna go? This is the only world that you and I are ever gonna know. And the world, she's down on her knees. She's right outside that door begging somebody please. Take your heart in your hands, just go. Make one thing change. Once you do, I promise you, you will never be the same. Become a living example of what somebody had in mind when they named our species humankind. Bust a move, make a stand, come on, there's so much to do. What the world needs now is someone like you. Yes, it's true, you know we do. Someone like you. What the world needs now is someone like you.
Kathy Moser, Someone Like You. Visit her website, kathymoser.com. You can get her music, her CDs. Just wonderful stuff. That is just such a kick of a song, Kathy.
Thank you. I call it folk hop. It's like hip hop and folk together. I love to hear that wah wah with the banjo with the guitar, with the beat underneath it.
Right. Oh no, it's just kicking. What a tremendous message. It really is. We have so much to offer. Those of us in the recovery community, those of us that have been given talents by our Creator, we don't want to hide our light under a bushel, do we?
No, and I know so many people feel like freaks or like they're unique in the recovery world, and I want to say, like that song said, like that's exactly the kind of people we need right now. We need people who could see things differently. We need people who are sensitive, like the gift that we have as recovery people who are very sensitive. Like the world needs that now, and the world needs your energy and your passion, and that's where the joy comes, actually, is from finding how we can be of service in the world using our most heart-beloved talents.
Yeah. Oh, right on. Right on. Kathy, in closing, is there something that you would like to leave the listeners with?
You are worth the work. It's messy work, it's hard work, but it's totally worth it. And I have seen, like in my own life, through my own family, you know, where the fork in the road is, and I went one way, and other members of my family went the other way, and I just want to tell you that you are worth the work. Even though it's awkward and hard, it's so beautiful, just like a baby bird being born.
Yeah. Amen. Right on. Right on. Listeners, please visit Kathy's website, KathyMoser.com. You can follow the links here at Take 12 Radio as well. You can also hear her music on our recovery music sets. If you go to Take12Radio.com, over to the right, you'll see a link that says Recovery Music. There's a little green a musical note. You click on that, and a music box will pop up, and it'll automatically start playing our music sets. And Kathy's songs are on there quite often. Please check them out and let people know, because there's much more to recovery in life than just going to an hour to an hour and a half meeting, you know, once a week, once a day, whatever. You know, that's great. And it is, we encourage it. But man, I am glad that there is a whole world of creativity out there, Kathy. Thank you for being such a big part of it.
Thank you so much, Monty, for having me on the show.
Absolutely. All right, folks, our email address, take12radio@comcast.net. Please visit recoverylife.org when you have a chance. Let other people know about it. And City of Angels Radio at coaradio.org. You want to get familiar with that. You want to listen to Kathy's shows. I got to tell you, if you're down in the dumps, if you're having a hard time, let your heart not be troubled, my friends. There is good stuff coming your way right around the corner if you are willing. Well, if you are willing. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man along with our guest, Kathy Moser, and we're wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty. Meow.